Hey everyone, Matt Pisarcik from Razor Emporium. I am coming here live for another awesome episode of Double Edged Discourse. I am joined by the legendary Phil Decker from Bricktown Grooming. How's it going, buddy?
Hey Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing great, doing great.
Thank you.
Well, we just wrapped up the third annual Arizona Shavers meetup, and it was a smashing success. If you didn't miss it, you missed out. But yeah, I wanted to jump in here and dive right in to get a shave going. It's a good day for a shave.
Yeah, I could use one.
But Phil, how are you a wet shaver? You've got a beard.
Yeah. How many times do you hear that?
I never hear that at all.
Well, you got to keep it pretty.
That's right.
You have to make it look good.
But the beard's new. You didn't always have a beard.
No. I just retired from the Navy after 21 years.
Wow, congrats. And thank you for your service.
Thank you. But I still got to keep it, I don't know, looking good.
You can't be like the homeless guy.
No, I can't go that far.
Right.
On that scale.
Well, we're interested to see it in action, and we, of course, are using some of Phil's awesome products, Bricktown Grooming. I grabbed the Lafayette, which I believe is like a barbershop style.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
And what'd you grab today?
And I grabbed Valley Forge. It's my newest one that's been put out through Razor Emporium and a few other retailers. Bourbon inspired, so woody, smoky, a little bit sweet. So it's kind of nice. I enjoy it.
Well, I think we should get lathered up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Well, in the first video that I was reviewing some of your products, because of your service career in the armed forces, an excuse to bring the war stuff out, I brought a World War II contract tech set, and it's Bakelite because they were using all the brass for ammunition, right?
Yeah, they had it. Liberty Gardens, that whole background where
Exactly.
people were doing their part.
So what is the inspiration for the Super Adjustables? Is there something special or just something you like?
So that's the one thing that I got from a friend that I've made through wet shaving, and I think that's been one of my favorite parts since I became not just Bricktown but a hobbyist.
Okay.
Is meeting people from all over.
Right.
And that razor came to me through a trade from a guy in New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
So to go from the States to, like, I traded a really nice brush, he gave me a really nice razor.
Right.
Everyone's happy, we're cool. But to see the reach that this hobby has, it's all over. You might not know anybody, you might know them and you don't know that they wet shave. Like,
Right. Oh, I know. It's like a little secret mystery.
Yeah, nobody talks about it.
You're in the club now.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me to a good point. You know, a lot of viewers may know that you got, the aftershave thing going, but how did you even get into wet shaving? So you're in the Seabees, right? Or the Air Force at this point? You started the Air Force.
I started in the Air Force.
And then the Seabees with the Navy.
Yep, and then I was in the Seabees, I transferred over, and a friend noticed I just like vintage old school stuff.
Okay. So
and just like the whole vibe.
Old kindred spirit of just vintage is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig that.
And so he's like, hey, you would really like this type of shaving. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I use a Mach 3.
I did. He recommended, he gave me some samples that he had laying around that now that I've been in the hobby for a while, we all end up having a drawer of.
Right.
And I just picked up a razor off Amazon and a brush, like something simple.
Right.
And just hopped in. But the first thing I did, though, was I picked up a shavette.
Ooh.
Right out the gate.
Little scary.
I'm going to learn the hard way.
Okay.
And I did because it looked like I lost a fight with a cat.
Toilet paper all over your face.
Oh, it's bad. But I went in Monday morning for work, so I had to answer to everybody. It was not a good look.
I'm sure the brotherhood of the armed services was not going easy on you.
No, if it's military and construction workers, it's like a double dose of grief that I was going to get.
Right.
So, but it worked out well. I took a little break and found a double edge.
A little easier.
Yeah, much. And then I went out from there, and I stuck, and I was a utilitarian shaver, just one soap, like Pro Raso White.
Yeah.
My razor, my blades, my one brush, and maybe a couple aftershaves, and that was it.
So how do you go from a hobbyist, worker, and how do you go from hobbyist to maker?
So I noticed when I would go buy stuff, because you read up on it, you want to know what you're gonna get. There's like 12 things going on, and I'm like, I don't know what this is.
Like ingredients.
Ingredients are scent notes.
Okay, so there's a lot. Okay, so the scent is really
Yeah.
intriguing you.
And that's like, I could, but it was a problem because I couldn't picture it. I couldn't imagine what all these things mixed together would smell like.
Okay.
So even though I'm reading, it's a total blind buy. So I found a site where I could pick up some oils
Right.
and check it out.
Okay.
And I just started kind of blending around and just having fun.
Hobby.
Yeah, totally just for me.
Nice.
And then during COVID, so I started just making my own, and I'll pass it out to friends, and they would be like, "Oh man, this is great. You should like make this."
Wow.
And I said, "You're nuts."
Yeah, you're crazy.
what are you talking about? And well, I guess I ate my words because they all love it. I've made a lot of friends through it. Had a lot more reach in
Right.
getting to know other wet shavers.
So were your first customers or your first buddies giving this to? Were they on base with you, like other servicemen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just guys down the.
Kind of a good test
Yeah,
audience.
and it was. It was.
Hey,
And
check this out.
Hey, this is free. Just try it.
Yeah.
Well, and the other reason I got into it is when I was becoming more of a leader on different sites, having to shave every day, I noticed a lot of the guys were having trouble
Okay.
and were breaking out and getting a lot of irritation. So I talked to them about their grooming habits because
That's awesome.
Well, it was a regulation, so I have to be on it.
Yeah.
But I also I don't want to just like, hey, you didn't do this right. Like,
Yeah,
I
like,
want to say,
like
hey,
a drill sergeant.
yeah, hey, I noticed this isn't right. What's going on?
Can I help you out?
Yeah.
That's a much better approach.
And I ended up giving shaving classes.
In the service?
Yeah.
Wow, like in the barracks, like in the bathroom, like
Yeah.
everyone lined up in their white t-shirts?
Well, I would do more talks and then let them do their thing on their own.
Okay, but still, that's awesome. I did not know that.
Yeah. And I noticed a lot of them didn't use aftershave.
They're just cold water splash and done, or?
Cold water splash, 2-blade, disposable, out the door to be on time.
Wow.
And so I wanted to, especially those guys, target something like, hey, this can actually be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, this can be kind of nice.
Yeah. Speaking of splash, I am wrapped up. I somehow finished before you, but you were blabbing, and I was asking. I was just shaving away, asking questions. I'm going to throw my splash on. I'm really excited to use this. I have to know. So we learned how you got to the product, but how did you get to the name? How did Bricktown come around? What does that mean?
So Bricktown, I'm originally from Haverstraw, New York.
That's the accent we're hearing. And let me tell you, we had a couple beers this week while he's been out, and I heard it come out a little bit more.
Where we are, there's huge clay deposits in the banks of the Hudson River.
Okay.
Where I'm at, and the town became affectionately known as Bricktown because we provided most of the bricks that built New York City back in the day.
That is
They
awesome.
shipped them right down the Hudson. It's 20, 30 miles
So this
away.
is a family business.
Yeah, we actually owned a brickyard.
So your dad or grandfather or?
Great-grandfather was the last, but
Wow.
it started back in the 1800s.
Wow, that's incredible. That's like an American story right there.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I love this smell. This is kind of a barbershop, but it's definitely more kind of sweet and rosy, and I don't know what I'm picking up. Do you remember just off the top of your head some of the notes in here?
Lavender, a talcum powder.
That's what I'm getting, the powdery. Yeah.
But it's not just like baby powder.
No, it's nice. It's
Yeah.
definitely masculine, but it's one of the nicer barbershops I think I've tried.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So your great-grandfather is making bricks, supplying New York City, and so this name Bricktown stuck, and you kind of incorporated that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a Bricktown museum my grandmother worked at, his
What?
daughter. And it's funny enough, his last name was Denoyles. The Marquis de Lafayette married a Denoyles.
Oh.
So he's like a great times, 12.
That's interesting.
Uncle or whatever.
Now, a lot of the names, I know that when we looked at, we did a spotlight on Phil's products, a lot of these are based off of military history. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that just because of your involvement and your enjoyment? Are you kind of a historian too of some of the old battles and stuff?
And I am in no way the academic of it. I just enjoy it. Yes, I had a family history. My family's been in the military forever.
Like Lieutenant Dan, like every army there's
But
been.
I kept my legs.
Yeah. But that's amazing. That's a good heritage that your family, and something to be proud of, obviously.
Yeah, and it gave me something to always enjoy reading into.
Right.
So as I would go through and I would design a fragrance, I don't know if this is backwards or not, but I would pick a person.
No.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, love Teddy.
An American badass.
He like wrote the chapter on how to be a badass.
Right?
Yes.
And so I was like, dude, he's so cool. Rough Riders.
Yeah.
Battle of San Juan Hill. San Juan Hill.
Yeah.
That's a really good name.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in Cuba? Maybe we could do a tobacco vanilla.
So you had the light went off, and then kind of all the details started getting filled in.
And that's how I've done it with all of them.
That's
Hell's
awesome.
Bells was from my military college I went to.
Okay.
Lafayette, French barbershop, inspired.
Right.
It's not going to be perfect.
But you know what? I think that gives the brand and the product so much more weight to them that they actually have something substantive. It's not just a pretty idea or a nice graphic. It's, in fact, it is such a simple label that you've designed. We get the American flag made out of bricks, of course, but the story behind it is what gives it so much weight. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. And it's, if you notice, the same label
Yeah.
for everything. And I know,
It's uniform.
yeah, a lot of people will buy off the label, and that's great. And I do sometimes also because
Right.
I have a collection of other artisans.
I think people, especially if they read through descriptions and the scent notes and the stories, that's what's going to make it really come to life.
Yes.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and that's kind of what I was trying to have happen.
I like it, and you know, have a real consistent, you know, look and label. Some of the greatest, like you think of like Taylorville, Bond Street, you know, Parasso, even, it's all really consistent. It's uniform, right?
Yeah.
It all looks the same. I think it's fantastic. Well, that is so cool that our viewers get to know more about it, because I was trying to cobble together my version of the story when we did a spotlight, and I'm glad I heard it right from the from the author right here, because that. And that's why people want to, you know, they're tuning in today because they wanted to hear this story. They've seen your products, they've heard about them, and now they get to know the kind of rest of the story.
Yeah, the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And it's fun because I know a lot of people aren't in the area and they come from out of the area to come to these meetups.
Yeah.
But when you get a chance to actually sit down with an artisan and you get to talk to them, it's really cool to get to know a person.
Absolutely.
And one thing I've found is when I was just a traditional wet shaver, not in Bricktown, I was almost intimidated to message them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're like the big figure. Oh my gosh,
they're-
you have time for me?
Yeah, it's just like it's just some weird personality or a business that
Right.
you're going from.
No, but people should know that as long as the customer comes at you with like legit, valid things and not just, you know, coming at you to attack you, most artisans love answering these kinds of questions.
Absolutely.
Like, tell me more about why you chose this, or I want to know like what the best version of this is, or whatever. Like, yeah, that's good.
Even if it's the, oh, hey, I heard of your stuff and I want to pick one up. What should I buy?
Yeah, what's a good recommendation?
Well, do you like spicy, sweet?
Yeah.
Like, where are you at? And I will walk you through.
Or some other ones you do like in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and if I don't have it, I know an artisan that does.
And I think that's another huge point, and I kind of mentioned this yesterday at the end of our meetup when we were wrapping up. I said something to the effect that, you know, everyone's in this room today because they're choosing to buy from individuals that you're seeing right here behind the tables, the artisans, the vendors, the manufacturers, the craftsmen, and to tell the story, to see the person you're connecting with who actually made that product for you, designed it. That's what it's all about. You're not buying from some faceless corporation, the same thing off the shelf that's made by the millions. This is all like handcrafted stuff. It's
Exactly.
It's a different world.
And someone who shares the same passion that you do. I mean,
That's right.
You don't wander off the street usually into a shave meetup.
Yeah, exactly. Especially not at our building in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, not in that part of town.
Yeah, no.
But no, you have a passion, so you're there.
Exactly.
The guy made it, or girl made it, and they have a passion too.
Right.
And it's really cool to be able to share that with somebody and connect.
I don't think there's any better point we could end it on as right there. And you wrapped up with a splash as well. You're looking good.
Feeling good,
And
smelling good.
Yeah, you did 2 passes, 3?
3.
Wow, so you were just going at it. Man, this has been a lot of fun. I hope we see you out again for another meetup.
I will, and I keep trying to talk more people into coming to the meetups.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. If you guys haven't already done so, please comment if you like Phil, like his products. Tell us what your favorite Bricktown product is in the comments below. If you do leave a comment, you were entered in to win this, the official Razor Emporium Black and Blue t-shirt. That's all I got. Subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed. Share this video with someone who needs to see it, and we will see you next time at Razor Emporium for all things vintage shaving. Thanks, Phil, so much.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.